a revision on equations. So we're going to go through all the different types of equations. So all the things you've learned in this course will now be revised here. So we'll start with linear equations. So linear equations, something with this are more common in the exam with fractions. So what you do is you just make a common denominator. So times by 2 times by 3. So you get 2r over 6 minus 3 bracket 4r minus 5. Note the use of bracket equal to 6. And then what I do is I have to expand the bracket. And note how I expand the bracket. I have to include the negative. This is very important. So 2r minus 12r plus 15. Come in. Alright, there's a note for you. Over 6 equal to 6. And then you collect like terms. If we collect like terms, what do we get? We get negative 10r plus 15. Now multiply both sides by the denominator to get rid of the denominator. Yeah, okay, good. So that will be 36. So if you subtract, get 21. And then I is 21 over negative 10, which is negative 2.1. Alright, any question? You all got that? Alright, so the key thing is the one you read. Make sure you include the negative when you expand, otherwise you'll get it wrong. Alright, this is linear equation, and there's other ones, but you will just remember to look at the detail from your exercises. Okay, this is just a typical one. Okay, now it comes to absolute value equation. There are exactly 3 types that you need to know. Let's go through all the 3 types. Okay, so the first one is pretty easy. X plus 2, you just go 3, or x plus 2 equal to negative 3, like that. And then you just solve 2 equations, x equal to 1 or x equal to negative 5. That's the first type. What's the next type? You still do the same thing, 2 cases. 2x plus 1 equal to x minus 2, or 2x plus 1 equal to the negative of that. So that's when you have absolute value on both sides. You do one with the both plus, one with plus and a minus. Yeah? And then you solve both equations. So you subtract both sides by x, you get x plus 1 minus 2, x equal to negative 3. And the other one, make sure you expand the negative, which is plus 2. And then 3x plus 1 is 2. So 3x equal to 1. Therefore, x equal to 1/3. Okay? Alright. Like that. So just remember the techniques. That will be tested again in the test. Alright. Now these one you don't have to check your answers. The last one you have to check answers. The one with pro-numeral on the right with no absolute value. Okay, these one you have to check answers. But the way we solve it is exactly the same as the second equation we solved before. Alright, so let's solve this. So again you do 2 cases. Let's do the 2 case. So you get c plus 1 equal to 1 minus 2c, or c plus 1 equal to the negative of 1 minus 2c. Okay? So you get 3c plus 1 equal to 1, 3c equal to 0, c equal to 0. Or the other one is negative 1 plus 2c. And then what you do is you subtract both sides by c, which is c. So you get c equal to negative 2. So you have 2 answers. This one you have to check, okay? So you have to go back and check these 2. Sometimes both will work, sometimes none of them will work, sometimes only one of them will work, okay? So make sure you check them, okay? So you check both of these. So we'll start with checking c equal to 0, okay? So you have to substitute 0 into the both sides of the original equation, which is absolute value c plus 1 equal to 1 minus 2c. Okay? Okay, so we start with the first one. So you get 0 plus 1. Is it the same as 1 minus 2 times 0? 1 equal to 1? Yes. No problem. But what if I check negative 2? Would it work? Actually, it's not negative 2. It's positive 2, right? I got it wrong. That should be positive 2. Alright, let's go check positive 2. So we're going to check c equal to 2. So we get 2 plus 1 equal to 1 minus 2 times 2. So one is a 3, the other one is negative 3. Okay, so often if one doesn't work, they will both be equal to each other, but one of them will be negative, one of them is positive. So that means this is no. So your final answer, you have to say C equal to 0 only. It means that there's only one solution. Alright, and usually I will say in the exam that will make one work, one doesn't work. Rarely we see a case where both doesn't work, or we see one where both work. Yeah. So we should expect one doesn't work, usually. Alright, any questions? So these are the absolute values. This is new. So this is not taught in year 10, but it's not very difficult. You just have to remember what to do. Okay? So there are exactly 3 cases. This one, this one, this one. You have to check answers for the last case. These 2 do not need checking answers. Okay? Alright, hopefully you can move on. All done. Yeah, we've got 4 pages to go through, so we're almost through the first page. Okay, making things the subject. Let's look at this one. So that could be a tricky one as well. So we're trying to make R the subject, so we multiply both sides by 1 minus R. Right, trying to make R the subject. And then all you do is you divide both sides by S. Right, so you can get rid of the S. And after you divide by S, you can subtract both sides by 1. Right? And that negative in front of R stays there. So A over S minus 1. And then to get rid of the negative in front of R, you just times by negative 1 on both sides, which will give you R equal to negative A over S plus 1, which can be written as that. That's your final answer. Question. So this is not an easy one, because the one that's difficult will have a polynomial in the denominator you're trying to solve. So watch out for these. And there will be other simple ones. So again, check your textbook for other exercise questions. Alright, good. First page is done. So first page is all mostly linear stuff. And then the other equation we did is the equation with powers, indices, and quadratic. These are solved very differently. Okay, using different techniques. So the first page are all linear. Means the power of C is all 1, power of the polynomial is 1, right? These are all linear. Okay. The next page will be things with powers. So we have to do different techniques. And they're actually not too difficult. It's actually quite easy compared to the previous page. Okay? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Let's do this. Alright, divide by 2. Divide by 2 first. X cubed is 125. And when you have to get rid of the power, you do cube root. Note the button you press on your calculator. There's a power. So if you don't know how to use it, please pay attention. So to get the cube root, just press shift square root. It gives you cube root. 125 gives you the correct answer of 5. Okay. Now how about fourth root? If it's an even power, you have to put plus or minus. Okay, so go plus or minus fourth root of 81, which can be accessed by doing a different button, press shift power. Okay, put a 4 there, 81. You'll get 3. So the answer is plus or minus 3. Alright, any question? Alright, these are things with powers. We also need to look at things with fractional power as well as a negative power. Okay, so know how we do them. Okay, so negative power, so we'll get 1 over a squared plus 2 equal to 6, like that. Subtract both sides by 2, which you get 1 over a squared is 4. And then you have to, now to get a squared, just remember to reciprocal both sides. So reciprocal both sides. So if I reciprocal both sides, we will get a squared on the top equal to 1 over 4. And then you square root to get your answer. Okay? So remember, when you square root, make sure you put plus or minus, which you will get plus or minus half. Any questions? Right, good. Let's look at fractional power as well, okay? Alright, so there's an exercise on powers. Make sure you do all the questions because they can be a bit difficult. Let me write this problem again over here. Okay, hopefully you're all ready. I just write the same problem towards the left. Okay, all finished. Yep, finished. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now, next one, again, the technique is similar to linear, where you just have to get rid of the numbers first before you try to find a polynomial. So just add 25 to both sides. So you get 27 equal to y to the power 3 over 4. And interpret that what 3 over 4 is. Actually, an easier way is just go 27 to the power of 4 over 3, right? You just reciprocal the powers. So you just raise both sides to a different power, to a reciprocal power, because that will have the effect of cancelling. Okay? But you just have to be careful, because if you write it, you just become 27 cubed root to the power of 4. Now, if that root is ever going to be even, then you have to put plus or minus. Just be careful. But if that's not even, then don't put plus or minus. Okay, just be careful. Alright, so in that case, we'll just work out. I think the answer is 81. You can use your calculator. Or you can just work this out. On a calculator, it should give you 81. Alright, any question? Alright, good. So these are equation powers. Note the difference between the other one where you have to find the index. We're not finding the index, we're finding the base. Y, A, right? These are finding X. So now we have to find the index. So what do I do to find the index? Actually, it's not too difficult. All you have to do is write 4 as 2 squared equal to 8 is 2 cubed. And then what do we do after that? We're going to times it. So you get 2 to the power 2x plus 2 equal to 2 to the power of 3. And after that, the easy bit is just make the 2 powers equal. And then you get your answer. Okay? So that's index equation. 2x equal to 1, x is half. Okay? Alright, good. So make sure you learn this, and you should watch that video again before your exam to just refresh your memory again. Alright, so we did that index equation powers. Now we go to the harder stuff, which is quadratic equations. Okay? Quadratic equations. Alright, let's look at the first one. Now, normally they don't tell you what method to use. If they don't tell you, just use factorizing is the fastest. So factorizing is the preferred method. So in that case, it should be x minus 6, x plus 2 equal to 0. Therefore, x is 6 or negative 2. Right? Usually, factorizing will only take you just a few steps. Okay? So use factorizing where possible. For the next one, you can't factorize it. Cannot factorize. So what happens if you cannot factorize? There's two methods that's available to you, either by using the completing square or using the formula. So we're going to demonstrate both methods. Factorize. So we have to use the completing the square. Okay, so let's use the completing square method. X squared minus 4x equal to negative 2. And sometimes the question will ask you to solve using completing square, so you have to use that method. Alright, so what do we have to add to both sides in order for it to be a perfect square? Hopefully you still remember what do we do? We halve this, and then what do we do after we halve? Square. Very good. Okay, you all did your homework. Very good. So what you do is you write, and after you do that, what does it become? It becomes x minus something inside the bracket. X minus 2 squared equal to 2, right? 4 plus negative 2 is 2, and you just square root it. Plus or minus square root of 2. Remember to put plus or minus. So x equal to 2 plus or minus root 2. Okay, so you can get, and that's why we can't factorize, because the answer is a third. Yep. What's the other way that you can solve if you can't factorize? Formula. Okay, just use the formula. That's on the formula sheet. Okay, so have a look at your formula sheet. You should be able to find it. I think I've pointed to you before. What's the formula sheet? If not, you should memorize it, but if you want to double check that you remember the right one, use that. So you just use minus negative 4 plus and minus negative 4 bracket square minus 4ac over 2 times 1. Double minus is plus, so 4 plus or minus 16 minus 8, which is 8 over 2. And as you can see, using formulas can be quite long, but we'll continue. So you get 4 plus or minus, root 8 is 2 root 2, which you can factorize the 2 or 20 heavily. 2 plus or minus root 2. The 2 has to be cancelled. You need to fully simplify your expression. So your answer will just be the same as what we got before. Okay? Alright, so let me enlarge this so you can all see. Okay. Alright, that's by formula. Alright, any questions? So you need to know both ways, using the quadratic formula, using the computing square, and also using factorizing if it's factorizable, and factorizing is the fastest method to solve a quadratic equation. Alright, any question? Otherwise, we're going to move on. Yeah. So quadratic powers and everything. Alright. Alright, done. Let's move on. Alright, let's move on. Okay, good. Next one, inequality. So again, with inequality, there are like 3 types there, right? There's the absolute value inequality, linear inequality, the easiest, and the quadratic inequality. They are all solved in a slightly different ways. Okay, let's start with the easiest one, which is the linear inequality. You subtract both sides by 5x. We get negative x plus 8 less than negative 4. Negative minus 8 on both sides, you get negative 12. But remember, when you divide by negative, you have to reverse the inequality sign to bigger than, so become x bigger than positive 12. Okay? So that's linear. Got it? Yep. Of course, you can do it differently. You can just like subtract both sides by 4x first, but you still get the same thing. Okay? Alright, won't get to the detail here. Alright, next one, absolute value. There are 2 different types. Note the difference. So one is less than, you have to go x minus 4 in between 3 and negative 3. The one less than, it has to be in between. And the one bigger than, you have to do 2 different ones. One is 3x minus 1 less than negative 7. And the other one will be or 3x minus 1 bigger than or equal to negative 7. So I can see the way it's solved differently when it's a less than and a bigger than. And less than is a bit easier. You just have to go plus 4 on both sides. And you end up getting, what do we get? 1x and is that 7. Okay, like that. Whereas the other one bigger than, you have to go 3x bigger less than or equal to negative 6. So x is less than or equal to negative 2. Or 3x bigger than or equal to negative. I think I made a mistake. 1 doesn't have a big negative. Yeah, that bigger than it doesn't have the negative, just the positive. Yeah, it can't be the same thing. Alright, 7, so you add plus 1, you get 8, so x is bigger than or equal to 8 over 3. Okay? You will notice the one with the bigger than, if you draw it, they will have 2 different ways, going that way, 8 over 3, going that way, negative 2. Whereas the other ones is in between 7 and 1. Okay, so they are different. So note the 2 different ways to solve the absolute value inequality. Okay? Alright, inequality, absolute value, linear, and the last one quadratic, which we'll solve. It's actually taking quite a while anyway. Alright. Just pause this first. Let's move on. Quadratic. What do we do if it's quadratic? Well, the procedure is first solve this equation first. Solve it as if it's an equal sign, which you'll get x plus 4, x minus 2. which is x is negative 4 and 2. So you get these numbers, that the numbers only give you 2 points on the number line. I just give you this. Doesn't give you the answer yet. What you need to do is to test numbers. So you have to test x is negative 5, and then the other one x is 0, x is 3. Test 3 numbers. Yeah, so this is very important. That gets asked a lot in the exam, and what people do is they don't do the testing. They just do whatever. Okay, so you need to be careful. Alright, so what do you test? How do you test it? You test it with the original equation. So what you do is you substitute the red numbers into x squared plus 2x minus 8 bigger than 0. So you test first, which is negative 5. Right? So you go negative 5 squared plus 2 times negative 5 minus 8, which is 25 minus 10 minus 8. Is it positive? It is, right? 7 bigger than 0, so this one's correct. Tick, and then you check 0. X is 0. 0 plus 0 minus 8, is it bigger than 0? False. False. So you put a cross. And then finally 3 should work. X equal to 3. So you get 9 minus 6 minus 8. I think the answer is 7. It's bigger than 0, yes. So what we do is tick. And after you tick them, you're not finished yet. You have to write down your final answer, which is x is less than negative 4 or x is more than 2. Right? In the places the way you ticked. Yep, got it? Right, so these are the 3 different types of inequality. Remember what to do. Do not use the method in linear on quadratic, and don't use the quadratic on the yeah, they all solve differently. Okay, so these are the places where I think students will lose mark. They still use the same method for all 3 types. That would be wrong. Okay, all 3 types use a slightly different method. Okay, all right, good. What else do we do? Let's do simultaneous equations. Again, they have different types as well. There's the substitution, elimination, non-linear, and free variables. We'll go through all of them. All right, let's start with the first one. Substitution. Now, what do you do with substitution when y is the subject or any of the variable is the subject? So you just substitute that into equation 2. So substitute 1 into 2. So what do you get? You get 2x minus, where you see the y, you're going to replace by x minus 4, and then plus 5 equal to 0. And you solve for x. Okay, so what do you get? So you get 2x minus x plus 4. Be careful of the minus. Collecting like terms, you get x equal to negative 9. Once you get x, substitute that back into equation 1. Y equal to 9, negative 9 plus 4, which is negative 5. So therefore, x is negative 9, y is negative 5. Okay? Alright. So that's substitution. Any questions? Oh, whoops. How can I do this? Alright, okay, now. Can't believe I did that. Okay, anyway, negative 13, negative 13. Thanks for that. Thank you. All right, good. Done. Any question? Substitution. All right. Next page, we'll have more simultaneous. Let's move on. Next page. Elimination. Elimination. Now, elimination where everything's on the left side, nothing's the subject. So your best way is to add and subtract the equation. And sometimes you have to change the equation. In this case, it's better just subtract it. So if we subtract, you just go 1 minus 2. You get 2x minus x plus y minus y equal to 8 minus 5. And when you subtract, the y gets eliminated like this. So you end up with x equal to 3. Once you get x, substitute that into 2. From 2, x plus y equal to 5. Because x is 3, y equal to 2. Done. So, of course, that's an easy one. Longer one may have to do more steps. Okay, elimination. Alright, good. And there's the non-linear one where people has been asking, but it's actually not too difficult. Let me show you how it's worked. Non-linear. Non-linear one with the one with x squared, right? Non-linear, because they are not straight line. So to solve them, just write them down like this. Y equal to 2x plus 11, right? Equation 1 and 2. And you just make them equal, right? In this case, they're both the subject, just make them equal. Right? 2x plus 11. Right? And then it's a quadratic. How do you solve quadratic? Move every term to the left side. And the fastest way is factorizing. So let's factorize. Okay, factorizing. So if I factorize, you get x minus 5x plus 3. Right, x equal to 5 and negative 3. Now, there's 2 x values, which means there are exactly 2 y values you have to find out. So, it doesn't matter which one you substitute, you just substitute into an easier one because they're both the subject. So, I'm going to substitute into maybe 1 because it looks easier. So, from 1, y equal to x squared minus 4. So, to get y, you substitute the 5 into that one. So, you get 5 squared minus 4. Which is 25 minus 4 is 21. And when x is negative 3, y equal to negative 3 squared minus 4. 9 minus 4 is 5. Okay? So that means there are 2 pairs of solution. There's the x is 5, y equal to 21. Or x is negative 3, y equal to 5. Get the idea? So there are 2 pairs. Whereas before there are only 1 pair. Yep. There could be 3, yes. But I don't think... Oh, there's one in the book? Okay, it was difficult. But usually you don't get x cubed in TUNIT. It's all in extension 1. Yeah. It could be 2 or could be 1. Yeah. Yeah. And even for that one, there's 2 pairs, but it could be 1 pair. And sometimes there's no solution as well. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, good. All right, let's go to the next one, 3 variables. I'll refer to notes how it's solved. There are 3 variables, but I'll just show you the general technique. Let's remind you of the general technique. So because there are 3 polynomials, this is what we do. We call them 1, 2, and 3. And just pick one equation, just from, say, from the first equation, you're going to make one of the polynomial the subject. I'm going to make C the subject. So C equal to 7 minus A plus B, right? And then what you do is, you substitute this into equation 2 and 3, right? So if you substitute into equation 2, it's going to become A plus 2B, that's from 2. A plus 2B minus, where we see the C, we replace it by 7 minus A plus B equal to negative 4. Okay? And then you have to simplify. A plus 2B minus 7 plus A minus B equal to negative 4. 2A plus B equals to 3. Call that equation 4 because it's a new equation we made. But that equation doesn't have C in it. Only has got A and B. So we try to reduce the number of polynomial. Before there's 3 polynomial, now there's only 2 polynomial in an equation. That's the aim, right? We'll try to get rid of the C first. And then we'll do the same thing with equation 3. So you have to go from 3. Actually, I'll do it on the left. There should be space. So from 3, from equation 3, you will get 3A minus B. And where you see the C, you do the same thing. Replace it by 7 minus A plus B equal to negative 4. right? And then it's going to get 3a minus b minus 7 plus a. Yep. Say again. Oh, 3. Oh, yeah. So accident happens. So right, 3. So 3. That's what happens when you do things in a rush. All right. Okay. Good. All right. And then we'll collect like terms. So you get 4a minus 2b equal to 10, and divide both sides by 2. You'll get 2a minus b equal to 5. Call that equation 5. So our aim is to get two new equations, but with no c in it. These two equations only got a and b, and because it has got two polynomials, we can use any method we want, either substitution or elimination, to solve for 4 and 5. Yeah? So from there, I could just go through this. So you go, let's write them out again. 2a plus b equal to 3. 2a minus b equal to 5. So 4 and 5. So how do we solve for the variable? What do we do? We'll be using elimination. We'll be adding them, right? If we add them, we will eliminate the b, right? So 2a plus 2a plus b plus negative b equal to 3 plus 5, which is 4a equal to 8, a equal to 2. And once you get a, you can find b. Once you find a and b, you can find c. That's how we work, okay? Alright, once you find a, substitute back into either 4 and 5. I'm going to substitute into 4. So from 4, you're going to get 2a plus b equal to 3. 4 plus b equal to 3. B is negative 1. And then what do we do after that? We're going to find c, okay? So to find c, we use this equation that we wrote on the top. So we're going to substitute to find c. So substitute these two in there, right? So you get 7 minus 2 plus negative 1, which is 4. So c is 4. So you got a equal to 2, b equal to negative 1, c equal to 4. 3, all the polynomial found with 3 equations. Any question? So that's the big picture of the equation. Alright, I will leave it there. Good. Alright, so if you still have questions for homework, feel free to ask. I'm going to stop